In 1967, the Edward C. Rochette Money Museum was established in Colorado Springs to preserve and showcase extensive collections of coins, paper currency, and other forms of monetary artifacts going back through history and from around the world. The museum's namesake was a lifelong collector devoting most of his adult life to the American Numismatic Association. The ANA is a nonprofit educational organization dedicated to educating and encouraging people to study and collect coins. From the beginning of time, money has technically been anything that people will accept for payment in exchange for goods or services. Historians believe that around 4,500 years ago, gold and silver began to be traded in the form of metal bars or bits of wire in Mesopotamia and Egypt. The Money Museum has displays of ancient coins to modern-day metals and artwork and has several coveted, very expensive pieces. Currently on loan to the museum is a copper 1943 Lincoln 1 cent valued at over $1 million. Also on display is one of only 15 1804 silver dollars ever made, which is valued at over $7 million. It's considered to be the king of U.S. coins. In the infancy of the United States, the ratification of the Constitution in 1789 gave the federal government exclusive rights to produce coinage via the United States Mint. Prior to that, states had been printing their own currency. A mint was established in Philadelphia, and on July 13, 1792, the first coins were struck. The museum provides a magnifying glass to be able to see the detail of the 1792 half dime. The spelling was originally D-I-S-M-E, but changed to the dime we know today, D-I-M-E, in 1837. These half dimes were distributed at the request of President George Washington. The first U.S. paper money wasn't authorized until 1861 to help finance the Civil War. Prior to that, there was colonial currency. U.S. currency had been printed in different denominations over the years. Today, the U.S. has $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100 bills in circulation, but in the past, there have been $3, $4, $6, $7, $8, and $9 notes. In 1969, the U.S. stopped issuing large denomination bills like $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 due to lack of needs for such large denominations. In the past, there have been several mints around the United States, but today there are only 4, located in Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point. The Federal Reserve determines the amount of currency that is needed to be printed each year based on expected demand. Everyone makes mistakes, and the mint is no exception. A lot of things can go wrong when printing paper money and striking coins. Double printing, mismatched serial numbers, overprinting, improper alignment, insufficient ink, and more. The United States Mint usually catches errors made during the manufacturing process and destroys error notes. The ones that have made it into circulation can be worth more than their face value to collectors. The Money Museum has several examples on display, including coins like a 1943 bronze cent error and a 1944 zinc-plated steel cent error. There are also several paper no error examples on hand. On the main floor inside the museum is also historic equipment used in minting, like the first steam press used by the U.S. Mint was introduced to the Philadelphia Mint in 1836 and acquired by the ANA in 2000. Enormous force was used to strike the blanks by the hammer die, speeding up the process of minting. Specific to Colorado is a display of national banknotes and the history of a saying in the state. Before 1863, there were private companies minting coins. In just 3 years of operation, the Clark Gruber & Company struck $594,305 worth of Pikes Peak gold and shipped a large amount to the Philadelphia Mint. From 1863 to 1935, there were 185 banks issuing notes. The Denver Mint opened for business as an assaying office only in 1863 by Act of Congress. In 1904, the government converted the assaying office into a mint. During its first year, the Denver Mint produced 167 million coins. The museum also has a vast collection of medals and commemorative coins that are on display. From aerial firsts like the Orville brothers' first flight to walking on the moon, to presidential and military medals that can be seen throughout the displays. There are presidential examples of America's first medals and collections on the medals of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. In the 16th century in the colonies, Indian peace coins made their first appearance. The first medals were hand-engraved by skilled silversmiths. The Washington Indian Peace Medals were presented with great ceremony as diplomatic gifts between the United States and the American Indian nations. There are several of those medals to view, as today they are extremely rare. For more information on the museum or on the American Numismatic Association, visit money.org.